Lego Fortnite has been out for a few days now, and since its release, I have heard tons of different opinions on it. Some are saying it's complete garbage, and others are praising it as one of the greatest games they have ever played. So which is it? Today, let me walk you through what I think of Lego Fortnite and what I hope the future of it beholds. Starting off with the good things, like the progression that it has. I personally think that Lego Fortnite has a really nice progression system to it that actually rewards exploration. If you want to get better stuff, you can't just sit in one place forever. It is a complete necessity to explore all of the different biomes, which are awesome. They all have a really different feel to them, and I think it helps each one to stand out in a different way, which overall helps to create super cool worlds. I personally have only started around 5 different worlds, but each one feels super different and all are nice to look around. Something about the Lego aesthetic just works, and that sentiment definitely carries over to the skins. I absolutely love how the minifigures look and wish I could buy them in person. It doesn't seem like at this current moment Lego has any plans to release them physically, but if they do, I'm definitely picking them up. Not only does Lego Fortnite look good, it also feels good. Something about the servers feel much more stable than those on Battle Royale, and the textures are just much easier to run. Lego Fortnite actually runs at a solid frame rate on many different devices, and you can't really say the same about Battle Royale. It honestly makes me wish that Battle Royale still had the old textures, but I don't think that they're coming back anytime soon. At least not for a new season. But we should keep talking about Lego mode, like the fact how sleeping actually heals you. It's a really nice feature that other games have, and I wish that more games would adopt this mindset. I mean, when you go to sleep and wake up, you just feel better. So why not just do that in video games too? Another thing I wish more video games had is the key system. I think Lego mode's key system is a really cool feature that actually has a purpose. Being able to share access to your world is such a nice thing to have. Sometimes your friends just aren't online, but you still want to play. And speaking of friends, I think Lego mode is best experienced with friends. While yes, your friends are sometimes going to be rude and mess around with you, that doesn't take away from the fact that this mode is just better with friends. It makes this mode much more memorable, and I really like that. And being able to speed up progression isn't a bad thing. But now I think we need to talk about some things that are just alright in Lego mode. Like the fact that town upgrades don't feel that worth it. Well, yes, it does feel good to upgrade your town and unlock new things. Things that you unlock just don't feel very worth it. I honestly feel like I'm just leveling up my town just to get it a higher level. It's like the whole joke about making a big number even bigger. I really think they need to add more perks to upgrading your town. And they definitely need to tweak gliders. While I definitely do love that you can even get a glider in the first place, it just feels useless. Why would I make a glider when it just takes away all my stamina so quickly? It honestly reminds me of Tears of the Kingdom, and I kind of hate that. If you're gonna take an idea from another game, at least take a good idea. I don't want to be able to glide for 3 blocks to then drop to the ground. Sort of like how I don't want to mess around with the NPCs. While the idea of them being able to do something for you sounds good on paper, in reality they're just so slow that I'd rather do it myself. NPCs definitely need to be reworked if I plan on actually using them. Just like how I think XP needs to be tweaked. I have spent so many hours playing Lego Fortnite and it just isn't worth the XP. And while I don't think the only reason to play Lego Fortnite is for XP, I also still want to get to level 100 this season. And I don't think that's very realistic if I just play Lego mode. Not that I plan on doing that, but some people are definitely going to do that. Lego mode is really fun. What's not fun is sandbox mode. It honestly feels like a horrible ripoff of Minecraft Creative, and I'd rather just play something else. It's not even like you can quickly build. If you want to build a house, you have to go through the same slow process that you would on survival mode. And yes, you do have unlimited resources, but that doesn't take away from all the time that it takes to actually build the building. I honestly think sandbox mode could be in the bad category. It's a cool concept, but the execution is just so bad. And that's kind of how the water is in Lego Fortnite as well. While I personally like how strange it behaves, I know a lot of people who think it's pretty ridiculous. And it kind of is. Water can literally kill anything in this game. If you have a problem with any of the enemies, just walk them into the water and your problem is solved. And another weird part of the water is the fact that it's not hot or cold. It is always neutral no matter where you find it, which while in many circumstances that is a very useful thing, it just doesn't make any sense. Water in the desert should be hotter than water in the icy biome. Enough of that nonsense though. Let's talk about caves. I think in theory caves are a really cool concept. They are super fun to explore and they actually feel kind of creepy, but they are so hard to find. I sure enough to walk around for 6 hours to find a single cave. And even when I do find a cave, it only has so many resources. Once I've killed the enemies in there and mined all the resources, it's practically useless. At the very least, I do wish that enemies would respawn. Certain items in this game require you to kill enemies in caves, and when they don't respawn, that's just frustrating. I don't want to go find a new cave every 5 minutes. Please, Epic epic if you're watching this video, change up caves a little bit. And now let's get to the bad part of this video. And honestly, I have so many different things that I want to say. Starting off with the building. I think Lego mode has such a bad building mechanic in comparison to the other modes. It just feels slow and clunky and not polished like all the other building. Another thing that's really clunky is just how weak the weapons are. Like, why do they suck so much? I honestly find myself running from most of the things I encounter because fighting just doesn't feel worth it. The only time I actually fight enemies is when I need the item that they drop. And I just don't think that's a great system. Speaking of items, I don't feel like there's enough inventory space in this game. I wish you could get backpacks that would allow you to hold more items. When I'm out and about on a big adventure, I don't want to have to come back to my base and put stuff in a chest. It just creates a lot of unnecessary backtracking, and I'm not a fan. Please give us backpacks! I also think that there should be something to prevent griefing. As a streamer, I really want to play this game with my viewers, but it's so hard when people just break everything. Maybe towns should lock stuff from being destroyed unless you're given permission. And while griefing is annoying, brutes are just downright frustrating. Not because they're difficult to fight, but because they're difficult to find. I spent multiple hours looking for one brute just to get a scale. I could not progress anymore because the enemy I needed wouldn't spawn. It was a very demotivating and frustrating experience. I get that brutes are strong and scary, but that doesn't mean they need to be so rare that it's a giant adventure to find a single one. And it's not like adventuring is super convenient. Like I said, gliders aren't that great, and neither is the movement. I feel so slow and there isn't much to help with that. You would think maybe vehicles could be a solution, but you can't even steer them. Just give us a steering wheel, or at least something to control the vehicles we're trying to build. Okay, well if vehicles don't work, what about grapplers? Well, they honestly just don't feel worth making. When you only get 10 uses per grappler, it's kind of a waste. They barely get you that far, and they are kind of pricey to make. I personally think grapplers should gradually rejuvenate over time. And I don't think grappler durability is the only issue with Lego Fortnite. I think all durability kinda sucks. You constantly have to make new items and it just gets very repetitive. You have to have so many extra resources just to remake the stuff that you already made 5 minutes ago. I don't want to do that. There should be some way to repair your items or they just shouldn't break at all. Just like how I don't think there should be a weather system in this game. It honestly feels like they took the weather system from Tears of the Kingdom, and that's another system that I don't think anybody liked. As a Lego minifigure, I shouldn't be worrying about the weather around me. If you want to make certain areas more difficult, just add more difficult enemies or obstacles. Don't make it so I melt like a marshmallow. Just like how farming certain items shouldn't be complete trash. If there is an item you very regularly need, it should be more accessible. I don't want it to come from an enemy that I only see every once in a while. And speaking of seeing things, I don't really see the long-term goal or the target audience of this mode. If the target audience is people trying to build and be creative, I think Minecraft is a better game for that. And if the target audience is people who want to grind, there's just not enough to do. I mean, for crying out loud, there aren't even legendary items yet. I definitely would assume that's a part of the long-term plan of this game, but I really don't know where Epic is going to take this. My best guess is that Epic is going to focus on the creativity aspect of this game, and I'm not sure if it'll work out. I'd love to see this mode succeed, but I do think eventually it will fail. It's in a very hard market. And something else that puts this game in a very hard place is its lack of endgame content. There really isn't endgame content for players who want that, and I think it's a big downfall. And even if there was endgame content, it's not like this mode has much replay value. I honestly think you can only enjoy a few playthroughs of it, and then you're just going to be bored. I'm currently on my first playthrough, and I'm already getting bored of certain things. Like the enemies. I just don't think there's enough enemy variety, and the enemies themselves aren't very balanced. Some enemies feel like a complete pushover, and others are just crazy OP. I won't even go anywhere near Bone Wolves because I know they'll destroy me. And it's not like I'm at the beginning of the game anymore. I'm pretty close to having the highest tier stuff that you can have. Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what all you can have. Without checking sandbox mode, you really won't ever know. The unlocks in this mode are just super random and don't make sense at all. Sometimes you feel like you should have unlocked a recipe and you just don't unlock it. It's a really messy thing. Just like how the information available on this game is a mess. I wish there was more tutorial information baked into the mode, and I hope that there are more guides that come out in the future. Learning everything through trial and error is quite annoying in a game like this. I shouldn't be super confused confused on what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think something that could help with that is having quests. I think it'd be really nice to have some quests that you could do to help you progress through the game and get some extra XP. I already talked about there being a lack of XP in this mode, and this is a great solution. My final bad thing about this mode is not being able to eat while moving. I know this is a silly thing to complain about, but it honestly bothers me. I can eat and walk in real life, so why can't I do it in Lego Fortnite? As for my future hopes of this mode, there are 5 things that I can think of right now. And the first is I want legendary items. I think it only makes sense to at least go up to legendary items, and I hope that it's coming soon. Along with that, I think it would be really nice to have more structures that randomly generate throughout the world, and in those structures, I wish that they spawned better loot. Chests in this mode honestly feel like a joke, and it's sort of annoying. When you find a chest, it should actually feel like an accomplishment. I also hope that they add back blings to this mode. Not only would it be a cool little visual thing, but I think it adds even more value to the stuff you already have. Being able to use your back blings in Battle Royale and Lego mode would be super nice. And my final hope for this mode would be some sort of interaction between worlds. Whether that be just direct interaction with your own worlds, or interaction with other people's worlds, I think it would be super cool. I think it actually incentivizes playing on other worlds, and that definitely adds to the replayability of the mode. And while I'm not exactly sure how they would go about this, I think someone out there could figure it out. So with all that out of the way, what do I think about Lego Fortnite? Well, I think it's pretty fun. While the mode definitely has some flaws and I'm not sure how long I'll actually end up playing it, it is a great break from the rest of the things going on in Fortnite, and I've been spending lots of great time with my friends. Lego Fortnite is definitely a work in progress, and I hope the future brings good things. And that's really all I have to say right now. Let me know down in the comments if you think I missed anything, or just let me know what you think of the mode down below. And if you're looking for something else to do, be sure to click the video on screen right now, where I talk about my thoughts on Chapter 5, and I think you might enjoy it. I'll see you there!